Boom, 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 boom. All right. Hey, and good morning, everybody. It's really hard to tell if I'm actually even live here, folks. So we're going to get started with the show. Let's go. And good morning, everybody. This is Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine, the podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about, what are we going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about getting organized. This is really what it's all about, especially in a world that's gone crazy. So, Black Success Magazine really is all about the people, the places, the trends to feed your mind, your body, and your spirit. And we come to you each and every day, about 8:30 in the morning, to about, 9 o'clock-ish or something like that. And we just kind of, we talk about some really neat things out there. One of the things that I just noticed is that I've got no sound. Well, it does. I guess so. Okay, I'm good. One of the things that we've really noticed about is we've noticed that people are just disorganized. The disorganized, and if you look at my desk, it has gotten a lot better. I'm telling you right now, it's gotten much, much better. And so I'm very proud of myself. I'm patting myself on the back here. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And then towards the end, if you stick around later here during the broadcast, we're going to talk a little bit more about, we'll give you a bonus thing. So just stick around, and we'll talk a little bit more about some things that I think are just gonna enlighten you. So let's talk about being organized. So I was looking at a really cool article, and the article was really from, I think it was Forbes magazine. Yeah, Forbes magazine. So Forbes magazine has an article about, and the guy's name, and I love to give people credit because sometimes you just don't give people credit for some of the stuff they do. What is this guy's name? Nate Huskin. And he's the founder and president of Marshall Group LLC, an U.S. export company. And they export vehicles, U.S. and Canada. So Nate wrote this article, and I think what it does is it actually kind of highlights something that we should be doing more and more and more as business owners. And that's trying to get as organized as we can, especially right now. We live in a time where things are just gone crazy. And if you're not organized and you don't try to keep getting organized more and more as you do things fall through the crack. Matter of fact, I called up some people who've been working with us over the last year and said, hey guys, I dropped the ball and I want to get back with you guys and make sure everything is going back on track. And we found out that at least one of them had actually dropped off the map completely and hadn't spoken anything to me about it, and the other one hasn't gotten back to me yet. So I'm kind of fearful, and this is only in a matter of a couple of weeks. So you can imagine what would happen if you're not doing this over a long period of time. So you've got to be organized. You've got to kind of keep your people in place. So let's talk about the first thing that Nate talks about in his article about being organized. And the one is don't keep a to-do list. Okay, don't keep a to-do list. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I want to thank you folks for being a part of the show here on YouTube. But Nate says don't do a to-do list. And what he says, I look at a to-do list as basically an excuse not to get stuff done. And here's why. If you put an action on a to-do list and I don't schedule time to tackle it, I know it's probably not going to get done. Okay? The only way I'm going to get it done is if I schedule time for it on my calendar. I also break down big action items into smaller items or smaller tasks to insert in my calendar. For example, If I have a large goal that I want to accomplish, then I start scheduling all the steps I need to take to get there. And that's interesting. So Nate says, don't do a to-do list. So don't even spend any time on it because it gives you an excuse not to do it. And to tell you the truth, I tend to agree with him. There's a lot of people who just they've got this huge list of things that they want to get done, and they go, well, I got 20 things on this list, and I just don't get them done, and it just kind of gives you an excuse not to get those things done. Now there might be a way you prioritize things that you're going to get done on a calendar, but Nate says no. Number 2, he says to update your online calendar. Nate says usually I update mine multiple times a day. If I have a call to make or a meeting to attend or I think something that needs to be done, I put it on my calendar. I also schedule my daily lunches so I don't run out of time to eat. I even schedule free time for my own sanity and time for non-work responsibilities like mowing my lawn. I don't mow the lawn anymore, folks. Organizing all my tasks on one online calendar means nothing is overlooked. I never risk overbooking my time, and I can reference my schedule quickly and easily from my computer or mobile device. And this is really something I do all the time now. Is I actually have an online calendar, and I update it all the time. I do, and this is probably one of the best things I've ever done in my life is to get this thing so that I look at it. But the thing about it, you have to look at it. I mean, you really have to look at your online calendar to make sure that the thing is actually where it's supposed to be at. So let's do this, folks. I've got a lot of new technology here that we're going to be working with in the next couple of days. Let's, and I'm kind of doing free form here. So let's do this. Let's take a real quick break, and we'll be back in just a minute with how to get organized in a crazy world. This is Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine, the podcast, and we'll be back in just a minute. Oh, it's still really bright back here too, isn't it? Oh yeah. Wow. It's a very bright room here. And thank you, folks that are with us on YouTube, that are with us on Facebook. Thank you so much for being a part of the show today. And I know how I do it. I just put my head over there. So if I put my head over here for my, what I'll do is I'll move this over that way a little bit more. And I think, that might work out a little bit better for you folks that are on Facebook. So you're watching, and you can see this big white thing over here behind me here. But if I put my head over here, it kind of goes away. Alright, let's go back to the show, folks. And this is Sherman Ray. We are back. This is Black Success Magazine. And thank you for being a part of the show, folks. Just writing down some notes here. I've got a lot of stuff here going on in front of me, and what we've done is we've actually kind of gone back to some of the things that we were doing before, where we were working with a soundboard and all that other good stuff, which is really cool. So hey, guess what? If you have been keeping up with us on keeping up with the website, you have probably noticed that the website is new and improved. That's right, folks. You can go to our website, Black Success Magazine. Matter of fact, should I do it? What I'll do is in the next piece, I will actually go over and I will actually show you the website, because our website is up. It's a new website. It's new. It's improved. It looks great, and we're adding new stuff. Our website used to be in conjunction with the Black Business Chamber, and now it's a standalone site. So very excited about that. Thank you so much for the team working on that, and so we're very excited about that. So let's continue with what we were talking about here today on staying organized. One of the most important things that we're doing. Last thing we were talking about was updating your online calendar, and so we're going to continue to move forward a little bit. And Nate actually says, and Nate, what's Nate's last name again? Gosh, forgot Nate's last name. I'll get it the next one. It says take notes with a pen and paper during meetings. Pen and paper. This is important, folks, is that you actually take notes. Now that I do all the time. I mean, I've got paper. I've got write notes. I'm old school that way. I write a lot of things about interesting. Here, this is what Nate says. While most of my tasks involve a computer on my phone, I make an exception for meetings. During in-person or video meetings, I write down my notes on paper. There are two reasons for that. Personally, I find that I can handwrite notes faster than I can type notes on a keyboard. Plus, I believe handwriting helps me retain these notes better in my memory. And I think he's right. Putting pen to paper simply has a different effect than using a keyboard. And this is probably most, I think there's actually, there's probably a scientific reason for this, that actually happens, is that by you writing things down as opposed to typing them, you will probably remember them a lot more. I've got pieces of paper all over the place here. And I can look at the piece of paper and I can tell you what it is just based upon what I might have written around it or something like that. But if I look on something online, I probably couldn't remember how I was feeling. I just can't remember how I was feeling. And that's a lot of times, that's really kind of what you're going. You're trying to figure out, how was I feeling during this whole thing. Let's go on to the next one. Okay, cool. Use a notepad app. Okay, use a notepad app to store goals and checklists. Nate says I use a notepad app called Colornote, and he's not affiliated with it. And I actually use Evernote all the time, or I'll use the notepad that I have on my iPhone. I use that all the time too. And he just happens to like it, and he uses it for a long time. With Colornote, he can create checklists quickly, which is really handy when he references a checklist later when he's working or updating his calendar. Also, at the beginning of each year, I list my goals on the app so that I can refer to them at any time right on my phone. Now, we're going to be having a board meeting here pretty soon with our group from the Black Business Chamber, and that's really what we're doing. We're going to actually be setting up the entire year in advance so that we can actually start, going after some of the things that we've been wanting to get done for the chamber. So very excited about that too. Next thing, don't clutter your phone with lots of apps. Having too many apps on your phone makes you feel disorganized. Oh my gosh. Have you ever seen those people? They just kind of go through page after page after page after page of notes. I only use a couple of things on my phone, to tell you the truth. Everything else, I try to get rid of them, and you can't get rid of them. But I only use a couple of apps on my phone, and I like it that way. It makes you feel more like, okay, I got everything under control here. Having too many apps on your phone, like I said, makes you feel disorganized. That's why he chooses not to load social media apps, shopping apps, and other extraneous apps on his phone. I find that an uncluttered phone screen features icons of just a few select apps is much easier to manage. And that's the truth. It's just much easier to manage a few apps on your phone. Let's see if we can get another one in. Send emails to yourself. Whenever you think of something on the fly, a random thought or an idea, another task that I need to do, or realization that I need to call someone, I send myself an email. I do this all the time. All the time. This is funny. and I feel really good about a lot of things. And when I picked this article, I mean, I knew who this guy was, and I thought he were some great ideas. But one of the best parts about a lot of the things that Nate suggests are things that hopefully you're doing already, that you're sending yourself notes, or sending yourself emails. I will do this several times a day sometimes. It depends on how much stuff I'm doing, because I will go back to those emails and go, oh, that's what I was thinking at the time. Because it's very tough to write things down and then say, oh, I'm going to go back and get them, and you may never go back to your note taking thing. So you might want to take a chance to do that. So let's do this. Let's take one more break, and we'll be back, folks. This is Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine, the podcast, and we'll be back in just a minute. folks are enjoying the show this morning. We are trying to get things up and running on different mediums here, and Alright, folks, we are back. This is Sherman Wright, Black Success Magazine, the podcast. And we're coming to you just a couple of days after the election of 2020. And we're so glad that that election is over with. I don't know about you, but it has been
And good morning, everybody. This is Sherman Wright, Black Success.
And I screwed myself on it, folks. So, there we go. So, what I did, folks, is I pushed the wrong button. Have you ever done that? Just push the wrong button. And so, let's do this. I'm gonna do something really quick here because I just did something I should have never done, and I did it anyways. So let's see if it works anyways. I think we're good right here. So anyways, many of us know that the election was probably, it was just a scary thing, and that I'm just glad it's done. I should just say that. I'm just glad it's done, and we'll just leave it at that. So let's get back to our topic for today, though, and it's really what we're talking about today, is how to get organized. And this is probably one of the most important things we're going to be doing in life, is just getting organized and keeping life in front of us instead of getting it behind you and stuff. So our author today, that we're getting this article actually from, his name is Nate Huskins. He's the founder and president, Marshall Group. They're auto importer exporters. And so Nate's given us some great stuff that we've been talking about. And the last one we talked about was actually send yourself emails. And I do this all the time. I mean, if you don't, and you really should get used to this, is sending yourself emails. There's certain things you want to get done now, and certain things you want to get done later, but you're not going to remember them if you write them down, or you might lose a piece of paper or something like that. So send yourself an email. Take a picture of whatever you're doing, too, and just send that to yourself. I do that a lot, too. The next thing that Nate says is to keep minimal paper files. So let's keep minimal paper files. The main reason, his main business is licensing vehicle exports and that kind of stuff, which require to maintain paper records on all transactions for the past 3 years. Wow, that's a lot. However, his other company are digital for easier organization and faster retrieval. Plus, all of his own files are digital as well. He says he's learned from experience not to rely on paper files because I just end up stacking those on piles around my office and creating a disorganized mess. Okay, can you guys hear this? Can you hear all this paper right here? Okay, this was from a project, and I've got a pile, literally about 30, 40 sheets of paper that are sitting here that I'm going to digitize, because in order to keep just to try to get rid of a lot of the clutter that I've got in my, on my desk, I've got to digitize this stuff, because if not, it's going to drive me crazy. And when my wife comes in and she looks at it, she goes, "Honey, what is this? Why? She can't see the desk." So keep minimal paper files. Okay, digitize everything, or find a way to digitize the paperwork that you already have, so you don't keep that. Let's go for another one. Find an amazing executive assistant. Find somebody who you can delegate your work to. Okay, that will just that makes. So right now we're working with. I think I've got 5 or 6 people I'm working with. Plus we're working with 2 more people to actually take some of the load off of the stuff I do. As a matter of fact, the chairman of our board told me not to do any work. I think he really doesn't like me doing this, what I'm doing right now, because it takes me away from doing the work that I'm supposed to be doing all the time. So, but find an executive assistant to take some of the load off of your shoulders, and that's probably going to be one of the most important things you do. Let's find out another one. Devote certain weekly days to certain tasks. Now this guy says he has 3 businesses, and 2 take up most of his time. So he divides up every week like this. On Monday and Tuesday, physically on site at one business, and he primarily focuses on that business. On Wednesday and Thursday, he's on another site, and he primarily focuses on that. Okay, and he finds that this schedule works well for him and helps him organize his thoughts. And this is what I do. I do the same thing. I do this during the day, though. During the day, I have certain things that I'm going to focus on, and there's certain hours of the day that I have certain hats that I wear, and that works for me. And that way, I don't have to say, okay, I've got to do 5 things, and you try to do this, because that doesn't work. It doesn't work when you're trying to do 5 things in your head, because this is a misnomer. No one can multitask. Multitasking is a made-up word that people say, and they go, yes, you have to learn to multitask. Learn to multitask, folks, because multitasking is the thing to do. It's bunk. Nobody multitasks well. You only can do one thing at a time. You generally only can focus on one thing. Now, you can see things, okay? There's a lot of things you can see, but for you to physically do things, you can only do one thing at a time, okay? So, I know for me, what I do is I divide my day up. My day is literally divided up. There's certain hours of the day that I do certain things, certain hours of the day I do the other things, and certain hours of the day I do the other things. And I literally focus on those things, the specific things during the day, and that way I'm able to organize my mind a little bit better. And I don't go crazy. So I think that and that way when I find myself going crazy, I go, what was I doing? Oh yeah, this is the hour of the day that I'm doing this or that, and it makes it a lot easier. So let's take another break, folks. This is Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine podcast. We'll be back in just a second. And we'll finish up the show here, folks. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Alright, folks, we are back. This is Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine, the podcast, and got new technology we're working with, and of course I pushed the wrong button, and so I'm going to have to, you won't have to worry about it. I don't think you probably even noticed that I screwed up something really bad. But that's fine. We're almost done here today, folks. So before we leave, now I told you guys if you stuck around to the end of the show, I'd give you a little bonus here. And so the bonus is this: my wife, my wife's an interior designer, and one of the things that we do on occasion, we'll actually go to a networking event that she has or something like that. And so many of you know my wife is a very shy person, except when it comes to networking. Okay, and so I want to give you kind of a tip on what she did and what you can use about networking that is going to revolutionize your being being able to get out there and be a networker. And so my wife did this. We were at an event, and it was for Halloween, and one of her coworkers dressed up in this really just a neat outfit, but she kind of just walked around without saying anything to anybody. It was a contest. So the contest was whoever had the best costume would actually win this prize. Well, my wife, every time we walked up to somebody, she would say, "Hey, guess what? Look at my friend's suit. Look at, she did the show. She did this, she did that, she made this, she made that, she made this." Well, and not just once or twice, the entire night. The entire night. So much so that when we were driving home, the girl who my wife was promoting in this thing said, "You know what? I can't believe you did that. That you told everybody. I felt like, that, you were my promoter or something like that." And Linda goes, "Well, you know what? If you want to win, that's what you got to do." So, fast forward now, it's been a week now. Guess who won the contest? That's right. My wife's friend. She won the contest, hands down. I even remembered her number, because she has a number that they give you, right? I even remember the number that they gave this girl. And I believe everybody knew who this girl was because of my wife. Okay, I told Linda, I said, "Hey, Linda, you know what you should do? You should get half the reward for doing this thing." And she said, "No." But this is the bonus here, folks. Your bonus is, if you want to be a good networker, you've got to get out there. You've got to put yourself out there. You can't just walk into a room and expect people to say, "Oh, you're in the room," and all of a sudden people know who you are, because they don't. By and large, people are probably going to forget who you are, especially if you are not out there a lot. So here's a goal. Here would be something you might want to do. Pretend like you're somebody else. Okay? Pretend you're somebody else, and assume an alter ego. Right? So when you go into a room, normally by day you are Clark Kent. But when you start networking, you become Superman. And you turn out, you've got a whole new persona. Okay? All of a sudden you're gregarious, you've got cards, you're walking, you're like a butterfly, you're going from person to person, you're not being disingenuous, you're just being very deliberate about what you do. Okay? And it's the same way I'm on radio. And when I'm here doing a podcast, I'm generally fairly upfront, I'm very forward. When I'm generally not here, I'm probably a very shy person. I tend to be very shy, and I'm just as happy being a shy, introverted person as anybody else. But when this mic comes on, there's a whole different thing. Okay? I got a job to do, and I've got to communicate with you folks. So networking is the same way. You get out there and you tell people who you are, what you do, and that's it. And you want to put your best your face forward. Okay? So there you go. That was my bonus. Once again, if you're watching us on YouTube, Facebook, I appreciate you guys watching us. Definitely YouTube, subscribe to our channel, Black Success Magazine, and on Facebook, on our Facebook page, Black Success Magazine. Just like our pages. We love when we continue to grow our audience. We love when you go on Instagram. We're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, Pinterest, and our new website is just up and running now. So go to our website, which I didn't get a chance to put up here, but it's blacksuccessmagazine.com, and you can actually check out our new website. We've got articles there. All of our podcasts are on the page, and we're continuing to add to that over and over and over again. Lastly, if you want to join us for Black Success Magazine, maybe you want to be an advertiser, you want to be maybe an article that we want to write on you, send me an email. Send it to blacksuccessmagazine@gmail.com. That's blacksuccessmagazine@gmail.com, and we'll check you out. Okay. Anyways, this has been Sherman Ray, Black Success Magazine, the podcast. Thank you, folks, for being a part of the show, and we will see you later. Bye-bye. And thanks a lot, folks, for being a part of the show. We will see you again tomorrow, 8:30 in the morning, to watch Success Magazine. Bye-bye.